Hello, everyone. Might even put that in. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 46 of the Commando cast. So, Mike and I are here today with not great news, and we're going to do something a little different than normal. So, we're actually shooting 2 episodes today, one negative and one positive. And because we don't want the 2 to overlap and take away from each other, we're actually shooting them as 2 different episodes, and they will actually go up back to back. Okay, so everybody still gets everything they want on a Friday. If you don't want to watch the negative, don't watch it. If you want to only watch the negative, watch that one. Hey,
as long as you're liking and subscribing, I really don't care.
All right, so what the actual FFG happened this week, Mike?
So during their FFG live stream, just like in casual conversation, just kind of announced that Covert Missions was delayed.
Some people in the chat are asking about the release date of Covert Missions for Star Wars Destiny.
I think we'll have an article about that.
Yeah, we'll have some more information in the future. Covert Missions looking like it's been delayed to first quarter of next year.
Yes, unfortunately, that is the case.
Yeah, and logistical. Yeah,
that is. I don't think I can properly express my disappointment on this stream.
Yeah. All right.
And not even delayed a month or 6 weeks, but till Q1, as I believe they said.
Yeah. So there's a lot of things. Again, we're going to try to keep this short because negativity is not the goal, but we're trying to. I'm trying to wrap my head around exactly what all this means, right? I mean, let's actually think about this, right? They've said it's going to release Q1, and that's what they've said, which means they've said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's September. It's like early September. I don't think people realize, like, all the people who are like, oh, it's okay, it won't be a big deal. Like, I don't think people realize, like, we're today 4 months away from the earliest possible date of seeing this next set.
Yeah.
And I know people have done graphs and they've shown, oh, well, it's okay because we have a precedent. It's been 160 days before, but that's assuming that the set comes out early. And it seems like every year FFG forgets that Chinese New Year is a thing. It's like, oh, it's Chinese New Year's again this year. Oh, my bad.
I think that is the greatest danger to all of this, is if it's not early in Q1, it's late in Q1. There will be no mid Q1.
I mean, I'm sure it'll come out early February. They seem to be consistently able to deliver early February. We've seen that, right? Late January, early February. I mean, again, Mike and I have no inside information. Obviously, we don't, because we literally put up our spoiler episode about 4.5 hours before they announced that the set was being.
Yeah, we were waiting, like, we'll wait like a month before release maybe, and we'll, that way we're not talking about it too early, and then we ended up looking like total jackasses.
Mike and I honestly thought the next set was going to at least start ramping up spoilers by late September, early October. Yeah. Right? We were kind of hoping for October release. We didn't really think that was going to happen, but anyway, we're spooling out. So, what the heck's going on? Like, what the heck's going on?
Okay, so it's delayed, and I get it. Delays happen. I work in the industry where things can be delayed. Like projects get delayed. I understand it, but it's really the way that it was handled, for like the way it was announced for me, and the vague time frame it was delayed to. Like, if I'm delivering a project to a customer and they expect it on September 1 and it is delayed, the first thing they want to know, just for their own preparation, is okay, it's delayed, but when can we expect it? I mean, and you, I'm sure in your industry it works the same way. You don't get shit to go vague.
I know for sure that if somebody tells me, I make the assumption for my own planning purposes, if somebody tells me one of my projects is coming due in Q4, I assume it's going to come due like late Q4, right? I'm sure that's hoping that's not what the case is here, but it could be, right? Like they could drop it in mid-March. I mean...
and it would still be within their very large
and then
window.
They can be like, oh man, look how good we did. Margarita
Tuesday!
Five.
Yeah, around the office.
Like, I don't know, man, right? So anyway, you actually brought up an interesting point. I wanted to talk about that, right? So they brought this up during a live stream. And you said the way it was rolled out and announced, right? The question I have is, if they didn't have an answer ready, why in the heck even bring it up? It's not like the questions were randomly posting on the screen.
Correct,
Like,
yeah.
Dude B asked Dude A, hey, the stream asked about the Destiny thing. When's Destiny coming out? I was like, oh, bro, I don't know. I'm really sad about it. And the guy's like, yeah, it is really disappointing. It's like, wait, that even implies that Dude B knew that it wasn't coming out and knew it was a bad question to ask. Like, what? Like, maybe Margarita Friday starts at 6 a.m. there, and like then they go do the live stream. Like, I don't know. Whatever. I don't understand.
I guess what you're getting at is if they knew, which they had to know at that point, right?
Yeah.
Why not wait even just a little bit longer until they have an actual concrete plan or
just not ask the question. Like, just ignore the Destiny people. Like, we've been ignored forever.
Oh yeah,
it's cool.
It was the only question that was answered in the entire
but-
cast about
like,
Destiny.
What? Like, I don't understand. I can't wrap my head around it. I don't understand. Like, I just don't get it. I don't know what to say.
Well,
like,
let's
move on.
I don't think that we can.
Yeah.
We are going to be able to fix FFG's process and how they announce things. So let's talk about some other, maybe, I guess, causes.
I mean, obviously when this happened, there was a huge explosion on the intrawebs, right? And everyone was putting on their tinfoil hats and going for conspiracy theories. The one I do want to speak to, and I got into kind of a flame argument with some of the Golden Dice guys who are, not huge fans of the cast from what I've gathered, right? But I utterly reject the trade war as an argument for this delay. It makes zero sense whatsoever. First off, all of the tariffs that are being applied in relevance to the game, to gaming, from the Chinese imports go into effect on December 15th. So if your argument is the reason that they're delaying it is because we hate Trump, I get it, you hate Trump, I get it. But like, that's not the reason. That would be a reason for FFG to release early, not late.
Right. Try to get in ahead.
And second off, this is a worldwide company. This tariff only affects the US. So why wouldn't they then, let's say they assume that it's going to get repealed in like January or something and then they can sell with no tariffs. Then why not release to Europe? We've seen them release on different continents at different dates. Every freaking set, right? So again, there's so many arguments, and I don't want to go into all of them, as to why the trade war is not the reason. But like, let's assume the trade war is the reason. Are you just gonna not sell anything in the U.S. anymore? Like, okay, your margins drop because of the trade war. Are you just gonna stop selling? Like, of course not.
Right.
Like, I work in a factory. We sell stuff to China,
and you're not slowing down.
That has been affected adversely in the reverse because China has also increased their tariffs. We're in the process of ramping right now, not decreasing, right? So you don't just stop making money because you're afraid that you're only going to make 9.5% instead of 10.3% or whatever it is. Like, I'm sorry, I'm done letting it go. The trade war is not the reason. Like, I don't care. It's not political. It's not. Like, I'm not pro-Trump. I'm not anti-Trump. That's not where I'm going. The trade war is not the answer.
Okay, so what? And I agree. I'm with you. I agree with you. What do you think could be some possible reasons?
Looking at the FFG range, right? They're releasing the Clone Wars for Legion soon, right? So maybe the plastic foundries are all gunked up with droids.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Maybe those are different factories. Maybe it's not. Maybe they, I don't know, had an issue and they had to chuck away 2 months worth of dice production.
Right. That's one that I'm always like.
It is highly likely this is a logistical issue, and by logistical, I don't mean our typical FFG logistics of not being able to get their S together. It's probably like an actual factory issue, right? I'm assuming, right? Or we also know that they are rolling out Marvel, right? Maybe they're overproducing Marvel and the card presses are jammed up. Right? I mean...
And I think, and these are all interesting theories, and we'll never know unless someone spills it, right? But FFG's never going to admit any of that, right? They're never going to be like, hey, we decided to make Marvel instead of your set, which is, I think, that lines up, right? I mean...
FFG has zero history of cannibalizing its own players.
0. Yeah, good call. Oh
Except,
my gosh.
again, but that's actually not a true complete accurate statement because the Marvel co-op game is not going to cannibalize Destiny.
I don't
It
think
might
so.
cannibalize their
The Arkham.
people.
Yeah, and that's weird because Arkham is like this really successful game.
Because
Like
it's their own IP.
Yeah, it sells a buttload, and
Right.
to come up behind it. But anyway, that's a whole other. That's a board game cast, I guess.
Anyway, so let's move on from the hate because
Okay.
we've been super negative.
Sure.
So where do we go from here? And what do we do to support the community in the meantime? And I'm asking you that specifically because you're like Mr. Theme Night.
Well, first off, I'm not sure the effect is like I'm not done being negative because there's some adverse effects that have to be discussed to the community.
Okay, fair enough.
So that we as
Bring it
community
on.
leaders then can kind of pivot, like in order to fix this problem.
That's a fair argument.
I mean, so one of the things that you have to be prepared for in your locals, I think, is a lot of non-competitive people have fun playing Destiny, and they fill up your locals. They pay your game store $5-6 a week to play, and they're not going to Nova. They're not going to Worlds, right? They're coming to play. In this current meta that is very top-heavy with the super meta decks that are hyper expensive, Entourage is still is it a $40 card right now?
I don't even know.
I mean, it's pretty expensive, right? And there's decks running 3 of them with Double Down or 2. If the decks are
And
even
to be
mastery,
clear, he's not saying in the Nova top 16. He's saying in existence.
yeah,
prevalence.
correct. Yeah, so there's a lot of people that are kind of more casual that are lingering in this meta, and the reason why it's okay is because with a 3-month set rotation, like 3 months a new set comes out, 3 months there's always something that's going to keep them interested, and even if the meta gets kind of degenerate, which it always seems to do, there's always something to look forward to keep them wanting to play. So that's my biggest fear of this delay, is that because we're in this meta where if you don't have access to the best and greatest, you could have 1 or 2 people come to your 12-person local and just cream all the casuals, and they may just go, you know what? I'm going to come back after the next set releases.
You can only lose to Satine Droid so many times. Right.
And I promise you, I see it all the time. Whenever I have someone who doesn't come for a month or 2 for whatever reason, there's about a 50% chance that they don't come back at all. How many people have we lost to, well, I'm getting married in 4 months, so I can't come, but I'll be back.
Having a kid. And
Right.
then they come back and it's bad news bearers. And yeah,
Right.
no,
I mean,
you're 100% correct.
So that to me is the greatest danger to this.
100% correct.
So as community leaders, I think it's our job, if we want to see our locals thrive, which our locals then feed into our primes feed into national. I mean, that's how it goes. We have to keep the locals strong, and I think that one of the ways we have to do that is we have to incentivize our more casual people to want to come, and give them prizes for bringing non-meta crap. I think.
But how do you do that at the same time? I mean, the system that you've developed for giving an extra prize for the theme nights, I think, is really strong. But how do we? Because you just spoke to it. Well, it's prime season, and that feeds into nationals, and which feeds into worlds, and blah 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 blah. How do you support that community at the same time that you're supporting theme nights?
That's a good question, and we've actually talked about this a little bit. So we have 2 main play days in our area. We have Saturdays and Mondays, and they kind of alternate between one becomes competitive, the other one becomes casual.
It's cycled once.
Yeah, I mean, but I feel like it will probably happen again.
Theme nights will probably cycle back.
Right. So I think one of the ways that you can do this is if you have a group that you're close with, like these people are people that you care about and are you're at least friendly with. I think you can even talk to them and go, hey, you know what? We're going to do an extra 2 nights a month where it's hyper competitive. We already talked about it.
Oh,
right?
well, we are doing that.
Right, we are doing that. We're doing like, hey, a lead up to Prime. We're going to do like a balls of the walls, bring your best stuff tournament. And then the casuals who don't want to get stomped out don't have to come, and they don't have to miss a day because we're doing it on another day.
I like that idea.
It actually had someone message me yesterday, as people often do, about building their locals. And they said, I've got this person who keeps coming, and they're just destroying everybody. It's the only deck they own. They're running this super meta deck.
So that they net decked and bought $200 worth of cards or whatever. And yeah.
Right, and it's causing friction in the locals. I don't know how to handle it. The person is not very receptive to the idea of running because the person's like, why would I run a deck that isn't the best kind of thing, right?
Well, I mean, had the turd in the punch bowl discussion before.
Yeah, right. And my response to that was, not everybody belongs in your local.
Correct.
In your meta, right? Not everybody does. We also talked about how scooping is a perfectly fine task. So if you have someone who's crushing you and you don't feel like going through it, so you don't want to feel that pain.
By scooping, you mean the initial scoop.
Right.
You just sit down playing, and you're like, cheers.
You shake hands, you talk about your week. I even suggested, you know what, if that is happening, have a night where everyone plays two games at a match, and you play with your deck, and then you switch decks, and you get 1 point for each victory. So you play, switch your deck, play again, and then you do another round of switch.
Yeah, but that individual probably won't come to that event.
Maybe.
Which is a win.
Which is a win, right? But maybe this person will come to that event, and maybe this person will realize that there is more fun in playing the game.
No, people like that don't realize that. They never come to that realization.
And this is why we're such good friends.
They need to be called from the group. Yeah,
and I
the only
think
answer. I'm sorry.
I think you can come up alongside someone and hopefully see a change in them. But you're right. Sometimes it doesn't work, and that person naturally has to fall out through social pressure. And so,
if they come to a weekly tournament and every single person in that tournament scoops to them and lets them win, and then they still come back,
okay,
then you just have a parking lot discussion. Like that's all that's left.
And we mean an actual discussion.
No. I'm not a.
When I was in high school, a parking lot discussion was something different.
Well, I mean, I'm talking game store parking lot discussion,
okay,
where everybody sits and throws dice at each other.
It's funny. So anyway, that was one of the things I wanted to talk about, was just that this delay is going to cause problems.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, and I think you addressed my question, which is how do we, turn the corner? I mean, it's theme nights and it's off meta stuff and whatever, right?
Also, it feeds your competitive players something too, because if they don't feel competitive, like if they feel like, well, there's no, if their fun is being competitive, and that's totally legitimate, you have to give them avenues to release that pressure as well. And hopefully Prime Season will take care of that. And that's fine,
but I mean, I think a lot of competitive players are driven by the reward. And like in your tournaments, the reward for winning is like an extra pack.
Right.
Like, especially when we're 6 months in,
and
no one cares about packs anymore.
Especially when we're themed, right? The difference between taking last and taking first with no theme is almost, it's almost
so that's what I'm saying. It's just like, I think it's a good system. I don't know. I think we're about done, but I want to go into dad mode and kind of go into a lecture for a minute if I can. Right. So I want to talk about the anger that is being expressed towards FFG right now, and I'm in no way excusing them as a company or their ability to do things or whatever. Right. I'm not taking a bullet for them. That's not the case. But this is our own fault, and we have done this to ourselves. Right. Over and over and over again, they let us down. And we get super angry and we're like, bah! And then the minute new product, I mean, hell, they released an article today, the day we're shooting this, about World's Prizes, and suddenly for 15, 20 minutes, everybody forgot that the set was being delayed. And they're like, oh my god, look at the World's Prizes! Ah!
It's so good.
No, it's like, if every time they do this to us, and then we continually run out and throw our firstborn's college fund towards games to give to them, you're not teaching them anything. FFG has zero reason. FFG has zero motivation to actually deliver, because we, like Alzheimer's patients, continually go every time and forget that the last 6 months has happened. So,
but I want to roll dice.
It's on us, man. No, and the reason is because it's a great game and we want to be a part of the community, right? So just accept the fact that it's on us. They're not going to change, and just deal with it. Now, does that mean that we can't bitch about it? Of course not. Go to town bitching. It's what they deserve. But you need to realize they don't care. They honestly don't give any care at all, right? So just suck it up and deal with it. Like, do you honestly believe FFG cares? If they cared, they would not have rolled this information out without giving us an article. And they certainly wouldn't have promised an article and not drop the article the next day.
There's a problem with your logic. And your logic is still true, but there's still a problem with it. That the answer to the issue with FFG is that we stop giving them our money.
No, but you and I've talked about this. The minute we stop giving them our money, they're going to kill the game.
Right. So
that's just how they work.
I don't know if I'm ready to fall on that hand grenade.
No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue buying my stuff. I will tell you, though, that I'm very... Because, again, the fact that we're both saying this means we both understand that FFG is very bottom line based. And they should be. They're a company. That's fine. However, we know that they track those who's the top... you see that monthly thing, or it's like who's the top selling... or maybe it's quarterly. Who's the top selling game? And then everyone's like, oh, man, Destiny was only 5. I guess the game's dying. Right? But they're not releasing any product to knowledge in Q3 or Q4. That's half a year.
You're right. Because this.
Oh wait, no, that's a lie. It came out July 4th.
July 4th. Yeah. Okay, so they slid in there. Yes.
Okay, sorry. That's okay. So they're not releasing any product in Q4. So when they look at their Q4 numbers, FFG is going to be like, "Oh, guess Destiny's dying."
Right. And
it's their own freaking fault.
Right. Yeah. No, and like you said, it was 9th on that list after falling repeatedly quarter after quarter after quarter. It's barely on the list anymore. But you're right. So
they're going to look at the numbers. And I mean, I work with people all day. I work with very intelligent people, amazingly good people, but everybody's indicator based, right? And people will massage numbers and they will look at numbers and take them out of context just to hit indicators. And FFG is going to be like, uh-oh, Q4 numbers are down. I guess it's time to kill Destiny.
We're wasting production on a game that's not...
And it's their own freaking fault.
Right.
So, anyway, yeah. With that, Mike and I are going to be shooting another episode soon that's positive.
We're going to have a few beers first.
Stick with us. And if nothing else, go Commando.
Go Commando.
Hey guys, so I'll make this quick and dirty. So Mike and I shoot on Wednesdays, and that leaves me enough time to get it edited before we post on Friday. However, Thursday obviously was a big day. That's yesterday because this will go up on Friday morning. So what had happened is in an X-Wing stream, someone was basically pressuring them, which is completely fine, to speak about when we would get the Destiny article as promised, and this is what was said.
I am seeing a lot of questions in the chat about Destiny and the Covert Missions set, so I'm just going to address that real quick and karate chop that right out of your hand, and get that out of the way before we keep going. So obviously this is an X-Wing stream. We're not going to focus too much on Destiny. As we mentioned in the AMA, the Covert Missions set has been delayed to the first quarter of 2020. Andrew mentioned in that stream that there was an article upcoming. That he misspoke on that actually, so there isn't an article, and that is all the information we have to share on Destiny at this point. So sorry about that, and back to X-Wing.
And with that posted, I think it's safe to say the internet exploded, right? There was a lot of anger, justifiably. And then at the end of the day, Matt Holland came in and he put out the fire by very simply giving us 3 spoilers. He gave us Darth Bane, he gave us the Ghost, and he gave us the Rebel Hangar. And with that, everyone was so happy again, no problems at all. This kind of feeds into what Mike and I were talking about in the cast with how, we kind of let FFG off the hook and we don't really hold them accountable. And now that we have our spoilers and now that we have our news, there's no more problems in the world of Destiny. Everything's good. Everyone's happy. No problems. Go Commando.